So, Memoria from Apichatpong. I believe he's sometimes is known as Joe or something like that. But let me tell you something. Also, I have no idea how to pronounce Apichatpong's last name just yet. I apologize, my guy, or Joe. I've heard Tilda Swinton refer to him as Joe, which is fascinating, but it doesn't matter. Okay, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I've ever since Titan, which won the Palme d'Or, which is amazing. Okay, ever since then, I have been trying to see this fucking movie. Do you hear me? Okay, this I've been trying to see this fucking movie for months. Okay, and it's fucking nowhere. Okay, ever since it left Cannes, I could not find this fucking movie anywhere, dog. Okay, it's not streaming. It's not in any theater that I can just fucking run to. It's almost like this fucking movie doesn't even exist. Okay, ever since I saw the hypnotic um, trailer to this movie, I was like, listen, I need this. I need this. Okay, and I even went out and watched the. Unfortunately, I'm American, and it was very hard trying to watch a lot of films from Pong. But I have seen Uncle Boon Me, which is like a fucking masterpiece. It's like the most head trip, mind fuck, fairy tale esque magical movie that I've seen in quite some time. It's probably like a. I don't think I rated it when I watched it, but I loved it. It's probably like a 10 out of 10. Like it did my head in. I was like, what the fuck was that? This is truly original filmmaking here. Holy shit! And then I watched that movie. Excuse me. And then I watched Cemetery of Splendor, which is from 2015. I think this was the last feature-length movie he made before Memoria, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, that one was a 10 out of 10. Blew me away. Okay, my review on Letterboxd is as follows: imagine taking Xanax mixed with a psychedelic drug. Yeah, reminds me of the space between wakefulness and unconsciousness. It feels equivalent to fever dreaming, something deeply haunting. I'm not sure if I fully understood the ending, but I felt it. And this shockwave of goosebumps hit when it faded to black. So that was my review of Cemetery of Splendor, right? And bizarrely, not only could that description fit all of his movies, particularly the imagine taking Xanax mixed with a psychedelic drug. Emphasis on that. Like all of his movies so far that I've seen, they felt like that. And this is certainly the way I described Cemetery of Splendor. Memoria is very similar. So Memoria, where's the? Let me see here, because describing the plot, what the fuck? Tilda Swinton, she's the main character of Memoria. So just listen to this. This is from the director himself. Okay, I quote: "So I decided to start traveling in Colombia, and during that time, before going there for a few months, I developed the symptoms of exploding head syndrome. It's a medical condition where you just hear a loud noise, like a loud bang, in the morning mostly when you're waking up. So that accompanied me during the trip." That's the thing. It's really hard to describe because it's not actually a sound. It's internal. I put this in the film Memoria. For me, it was like a snapping. It was like a snapping of something, the snapping of rubber and metal, and then it echoed. What the fuck? But again, it's not audio. It's something that you feel. It came to me almost every morning. Holy shit! At the moment between sleeping and waking. That's weird. I didn't notice he said that. That's kind of weird, given what I said about Cemetery of Splendor. Perhaps it's psychological. I'm not sure. I was mostly fascinated by it, and then it just went away. So in the movie Memoria, Tilda Swinton's character, she begins suffering from this exploding head syndrome, which is one of the most baffling, trippiest things I've ever heard of. I've never heard of such a concept before. Incredibly fucking bizarre. Like literally, the first sequence in the movie is her like experiencing this bang, this fucking noise, which sort of reminds me of the hum phenomenon, which is one of the creepiest fucking things I've ever heard of, because the hum phenomenon is something that's been heard around the world. Like there's YouTube videos. Let me see if I have yeah, strange sounds in the sky. There's literally videos of people recording these horrifying, like nightmarish sounds from the sky that's like unexplainable. um Sometimes, and what's creepy is that Tilda Swinton, there's a moment where she's like, what she's hearing, she describes it as like a rumbling, and many times that description coincides with the hum phenomenon, which is so fucking bizarre. Like people are like outside recording these roaring sounds from somewhere in the sky in the distance. So fucking disturbing. Could you imagine being asleep? It's the middle of the night. You wake up, you walk outside, and there's just this roaring, lion like screaming sound from the sky. You don't know what direction, you don't know how far away it is, but it just keeps bothering you. Like, this is so fucking bizarre. So yeah, basically the movie is about Tilda Swinton dealing with this exploding head syndrome while she's like traveling in Colombia, going on one of the most bizarre cinematic adventures of the year. Let me see if there's a little bit more. So this is from the director as well. So it became excuse me. So it became a story of this woman who was kind of drifting between places, and we don't know much about her background. Huge understatement. And I really don't care about that. If you know my films, it's more about the moment. So she's just drifting in Colombia with this sound in her head. I think that's all I can say about the film. Along the way, she encounters individuals. In retrospect, I think the whole film is about healing, and it's about finding yourself, or just finding a connection to a place and its people, all of the different layers there, and how you have to go through the process of simulation and internal transformation. I hope the movie translates as that. Sorry, I cannot really explain it. I think even after seeing the movie, you don't really know what it is about. It's just feelings. And I'm really glad I clipped that. It was from an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, because even this movie is so fucking hard to explain. And even in the director's words, it's almost like the director himself is not entirely sure what he wrote and shot. But what I can say is that I loved Memoria. It is immediately one of my favorite films of the year. I had to go to such great lengths to watch this movie. It's ridiculous. It started with a really cute, adorable introduction from Tilda Swinton and Apichatpong, and fuck me running, dude. This is one of the most surreal, baffling, one of the trippiest, if not, dare I say, the trippiest movie of the year. Which is so weird, because this movie, it's so quiet. This movie is so hypnotic. It's so transfixing. It's so slow burning. There's a sequence with Tilda Swinton and this woman in a hospital bed, and there were a few moments where I had to remember that I was looking at moving photography. This movie is so still. It's like the director, he just wants you to just drink in every single fucking image. It's a camera still on me? Yeah, it's like the director just wants you to drink in every single fucking image. It's like I need to stop saying this because in this context, it's so correct, it's ridiculous. But genuinely, I overuse this, but like every frame truly is like a painting. Like when Tilda Swinton, I don't even remember her character's name. So maybe even the director probably, it sounded like he fucking forgot the character's name, but like Tilda, there's a moment with Tilda Swinton's character at night where she's trying to like evade a dog, and like the nervousness that I felt. What the fuck, dude? Or like um she develops a really enduring relationship with this sound producer, right? Like she gets so desperate, she gets so driven by like what is this bang that I keep hearing in my consciousness, for seemingly no rhyme or reason, right? So she tracks down this sound producer, because she's hoping that this guy can like recreate the sound of this bang that she hears in her mind. It's fucking crazy. And like those sequences just had me spellbound. like the moment where like she taps his arm because he's the sound producer's getting close to recreating what she's been hearing in her head. That it's almost like it's like tormenting her. Like it's what the fuck. And oh my god, this movie is so fucking bizarre. I feel like I took a psychedelic drug. This movie, watching this movie, is equivalent to like taking the weirdest acid trip ever, dog. Hold on a second. I know I'm gushing over here, but I'm not fucking around. This movie blew my sack out, bro. It's like watching this movie. It's like putting on a VR helmet, and you are transported to a world that is familiar, but under the guise of the Apichatpong, you can tell it's there's something else permeating under the surface here. There's some kind of like literal magic in this movie or something. It's so bizarre. It's so strange. Um, I almost feel like I've been abducted by an alien watching this movie. I kind of want to go to sleep to this movie. I would like to watch this movie again and again, and on some of those trips, I would love to like. First off, I would love to trip watching this movie. That'd be incredible. But I would love to like fall asleep to this movie. Weirdly, Apichatpong, he's mentioned that like he doesn't mind if people fall asleep to his movies, which what? It's almost not even a movie. Again, it's like some strange drug. It's almost like a art installation disguised as a movie or something like that. There's like no music. There's like no music in the movie. Most of the movie is either like silence or the sound of the literal sound of building room interiors or of nature, That reminds me, what in the colossal fuck? There's this one really trippy moment where she's walking by this river and she keeps hearing the bang again and again, and she meets a man, some stranger, and like the way that man lives his life, like I just felt so jealous. Like it reminded me of when I used to research Buddhism, and I became so fascinated with like the way these Buddhist monks live, like the fact that they live without TV, without iPhones, without needing movies, without needing to see Tiger King or social media. So fascinating to me. Um, I almost feel like they are living far more than I will have ever lived. If that makes any sense. This movie makes this movie makes you think about really deep shit like that, like deep philosophical, like spiritual shit. You know what I mean? Uh, Tilda, all the acting is like, it almost doesn't feel like acting is happening. it's almost like we're watching some kind of bizarre abstract documentary. You know what I mean? The acting is like creepily is convincing and realistic. Like for example, like the way that Tilda Swinton expresses herself when when the sound designer nails it, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm finally hearing the fucking noise that's been happening inside my head." Like her physical reaction to that, like just took my breath away. You know what I mean? Or when she meets that fucking dude by the river, right? When she's like, "Hey, I can't sleep. Can I watch you sleep?" Which, what the fuck? But when that dude goes to sleep, what happens next? I was like, what the fuck is going on? What just happened? What? And then, dude, holy shit, dude. Let me tell you something, dog. Let me tell you something. I think just maybe. I know this sounds crazy. What's weird is that this is one of those movies that, like, I don't know how to recommend because, like, most people who watch movies today, they don't watch shit like this. Like, I feel like most people are gonna accidentally fall asleep and be like, "Dro, why did you recommend this fucking movie to me?" It's not this. This ain't the MCU, folks. Okay, this ain't fucking Tim Burton over here. This is something else. Again, this is almost like uh, an art installation. It's like a literal work of art. Like this fucking movie should be in a museum somewhere, as an art piece, because that's literally what it is. This may be the only movie so far this year that literally feels like a work of art, that you would see at the like at the Louvre or something like that. Like it's Jesus, I love this movie so fucking much. This movie is a 10 out of 10 for me. This movie is a 10 out of 10 for me. I cannot wait to see this fucking movie again, dog. Oh my goodness. I wanna sleep to this movie. I want to try to figure this movie out because clearly it's like some kind of cinematic puzzle that you're meant to solve. Watching Memoria, it's like a dream. It's almost as if like the director pulled some kind of fever dream out of his skull and just projected that for like 2 hours and some change. I mean, I'm fucking blown away by this movie. Like, I'm not bullshitting you. I was blown the fuck away. I think this is a easy 10 out of 10. I wasn't sure what the fuck to think when I finished it because watching, like, walking away from this movie is like coming down off of like the most massive high or coming down off of tripping balls. But um watching this movie was very similar. So like I drove up to see my parents on Thanksgiving. It was like an 8-hour drive there and two, and like there were I was driven, I should have said. But anyways, and there were times where I fell asleep, and I'm bleeding in and out of fucking consciousness, and like I'm like seeing the real world, and then like I'm seeing the dream world all incoherent and shit, and like I'm getting like scoliosis in the fucking back, and like the watching this movie was like that experience. Hold on, I need to take another drink of water here. Give me a second. I'm literally freaking out about this movie, which is hilarious because modern moviegoers are not used to some shit like this. Like, oh yeah, back to what I was saying about this movie being a puzzle. There's some there's some weird shit going on in this movie. Like, for example, there's this weird creeping shot, right? Camera's moving forward, right? And there was like a parking lot, and like all these cars were just like creepily were just going off for some reason, like the alarms. And there's no real like direct explanation. It's just like, what the fuck was that? Okay, was there a ghost out there? There's a lot of ghosts and spirits in his films, clearly. There's also a bizarre moment where Tilda's walking downtown, and there's a car that goes by that makes almost like a gunshot noise, and there's this guy who like he like wigs out and he jumps on the ground as if there was like a gunshot, and it's like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck did that mean, right? What? Or this guy right here, there's a moment where he's sitting down and he starts like wigging out in his chair, and it's like, what does that mean? Dude, like I said, the ending to this movie is probably my favorite ending of the year so far, which is fucking saying something given the movies that I've seen and gushed about. But the ending to this movie literally blew my fucking mind. Like the last, I want to say like the last 30, 15 minutes, something like that to this movie. Like the last 15 minutes blew my fucking mind. Okay. Like there's a moment. Okay. Like you see this soldier right here. Okay. Like a few moments before then, there's a sequence where I was in bed watching this movie. I literally shot up like this, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then all of a sudden, it's almost like the movie like became full circle, and there's like a hint of. I gotta be careful here. How do I say this without spoilers? Oh, fuck it. No one's gonna be ready for this sequence, but there's like a hint of science fiction. I know, but like, dude, no one is gonna see that coming, dog. No one. Holy shit! So trippy. This movie and the ending to this movie is so trippy. I don't even know if I have the appropriate. I don't even know what the vocabulary if the appropriate vocabulary in the English language exists to describe just how fucking otherworldly the ending to this movie is, and how hypnotic and like trance-inducing this movie experience is, right? And then when it cuts to black, right, and when we get to the end credits, like you're hearing like thunderstorms and like the sound of the rainforest, that plays through the end credits, and like literally I literally was just staring at the fuck. I can't think of any other movie this year that when it ended, like literally, I was just staring, jaw dropped at the fucking end credits. Like it felt like my brain was misfiring, trying to figure out what the director was trying to tell me. Like, where the fuck did this movie come from? It's almost like it's almost like the director channeled this movie from like another realm.